Hey, how's it going, guys? So we're here at Fire and Dice. It's the end of the day. We just finished pre-release. If you saw the video prior to this, because this is going to be uploaded right afterwards, you would know how the pre-release event went. If you didn't get a chance to check it out, feel free to give it a view and a like. But this video, we're going to talk about a box opening. So I didn't open the box myself because I didn't have a box in my possession. But the owner of Fire and Dice, which is Dave, he cracked open 2 boxes and he was nice enough to let me share his pulls with you. So I have box number 1 here and the pulls from box number 2 here. And I'm not going to show you all the cards. I'm just going to show you the highlights of the boxes. So we're going to get into that right now. So from box number 1, he actually got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 GXs in 1 box, which honestly the pull ratio for that is pretty amazing. I'm actually glad that Pokemon's kind of getting back into that. Before, like Sun and Moon boxes, they weren't giving out too many GXs. You were getting at least like 2 or maybe even 3 GXs. So yeah, so at least with this you have 8 GXs in a box, which is really good. So hopefully the rest of the boxes come out the same way like this one did. So hopefully with a couple days into the boxes we'll know. Alright, so the first thing that came out is Toxapex GX. So it looks like this. It's a stage 1. It evolves from Marini. Its attacks are Spike Cannon, so it does flip 4 coins. Its attack does 30 damage for each heads for 1 psychic energy, which is really good. It also has super intense poison. Your active Pokemon is now poisoned. Put 10 damage counters instead of 1 on that Pokemon between turns. So that pretty much, it's doing 10 damage per turn, which is really good. And then we also have, and that's for 3 energies. So we also have Total Shredder GX, which is, it's doing 150, and then prevent all effects of attacks, including damage done to this Pokemon during your opponent's next turn. So pretty much you're gonna hit for 150. If this is the only Pokemon up there, it's not going anywhere, and they're not gonna hit it for any damage. And then on top of that, like if you have nothing on the bench, you can't get Lysandered out of this or escape roped or anything like that. So it's really good if it's your only Pokemon out there. So yeah, defensive wise. The next Pokemon that they got a Full Art Metagross GX. So Metagross GX, it has an ability, it's called Geotech System. Once during your turn before your attack, you may attach a Psychic or Metal Energy card from your discard pile to your active Pokemon. It's actually really good. One of my other friends called Randy, he pulled one earlier today as well. And I told him that he should run this with Wobbuffet. So if you have Wobbuffet out, you can use this. Actually, you can't use Wobbuffet with this because Wobbuffet shuts off your abilities. But besides that, it's still good to like stack up on Metal Energies and Psychic Energies, so that's always great. So the first attack for 3 energies, so 2 metals and a colorless. Giga Hammer, this does 150. This Pokemon can't use Giga Hammer during your next turn. So more than likely you're gonna hit for 150, switch out, and then hit for another 150. So kind of like what Lapras is doing nowadays, but just for metal. So it does hit weakness for fairies. We also have Algorithm GX. So for 1 colorless, search your deck for up to 5 cards, put them into your hand, and shuffle the deck. So this pretty much is like Hollow Hunt for Decidueye. So you get 5 cards, put them into your hand. That's actually really good. So we have Tapu Lele GX. It has an ability called Wonder Tag. When you play this Pokemon from your hand onto your bench during your turn, you may search your deck for a supporter card, reveal it, and put it into your hand, and shuffle your deck. So this is probably going to be the new Jirachi EX that's going to be running around. It is Psychic for 170 for a basic, so that's pretty good. Its first attack for a double colorless. Energy drive, so 20 times. This attack does 20 damage times the amount of energies attached to both active Pokemon. This attack isn't affected by weakness or resistance. So this is kind of like X-Ball for Mewtwo, so it's really good. And then it has Tapu Cure GX, which it does for 1 energy, heal all damage from 2 of your bench Pokemon. So pretty much if you have two bench Pokemon that have a lot of damage, or one GX move, boom, you heal it completely. Next we have Pika Bolts GX. So it looks like this. Its first attack for 1 energy is called Charge Beam. It does 50 damage. Attach an energy card from your discard pile to this Pokemon. So pretty much you're doing 50 and you're stacking energy. So an Oblivion Wing, but it goes onto this Pokemon. Then the second attack is one electric and 3 colorless. It's Super Zap Cannon. It does 180. Discard 2 energy cards from this Pokemon. So that's pretty good. Its third attack, which is a GX attack, is one lightning energy and 3 colorless. It's Gigatron GX. This attack does 60 damage to each of your opponent's bench Pokemon. Don't apply weakness or resistance for bench Pokemon. You can't use more than 1 GX attack in the game. So 60 damage to everything on the bench. If your opponent's playing something like Gyarados or something that he hasn't evolved yet, you can pretty much wipe the board and collect multiple prizes at that point. So this is pretty good. I'm pretty sure we're gonna see some play with this. The next card we got is Tapu Kuku GX. Looks like this.
Daddy, you wanna play zombies?
Its ability is called Arrow Trail. When you play this Pokemon from your hand onto your bench during your turn, you may move any number of lightning energies from your other Pokemon to this Pokemon. If you do, switch this Pokemon in your active. So it's pretty much like the old Dragonite that we had in X and Y, that when it came out, it would grab all the energies on the board, put it on him, and he would become the active. So that's really good if you already have your bench set up with like a bunch of energy, like if you're using max elixirs, water patches, stuff like that. It's a really good card to have. So its first attack for 2 lightnings and 1 colorless, Sky High Claws. It does 130. No side effects, nothing, it's just 130 for 3 energies. The next attack for 2 lightnings and a colorless, Tapu Thunder GX, which is 50 times. This attack does 50 times the amount of energies attached to all your opponent's Pokemon. So pretty much it cleans the board if your opponents have multiple energies attached to them. So yeah, it's a really good card. More than likely gonna see a lot of play with this. Here's another Metagross GX, but this is not full art, it's just a regular art. So yeah. So next we have Lycanroc GX. Looks like this. Its ability is Bloodthirsty Eyes. When you play this Pokemon from your hand to evolve one of your Pokemon during your turn, you may switch one of your opponent's bench Pokemon with their active Pokemon. So pretty much it's a free Lysander. So if you evolve, you Lysander something out, and then if you can switch this in, or if you have something else to retreat, you start doing damage if you already have your energy set up. So the first attack for 1 fighting and 2 colorless, it's Claw Slash. It does 110, and then its GX move is Dangerous Rogue GX. For 1 fighting, 1 colorless, it does 50 damage. This attack does 50 damage for each of your opponent's bench Pokemon. So if your opponent has a full bench, or you're playing against Rayquaza, 50 damage times the number of bench Pokemon, you're more than likely going to get a knockout with it. Next we have Tortuna. Hardest name to pronounce out of all of them, I swear. Tortunator GX. Correct me if I'm wrong, but that's what I think it says. For its first attack, it's called Shell Trap for 20 damage and a double colorless. During your opponent's next turn, if this Pokemon is damaged by an attack, even if the Pokemon is knocked out, put 8 counters on the attacking Pokemon. So you'd hit for 20, but then you'll get 80 damage to yourself. The next attack for 2 fire energies and a colorless, it's called Bright Flame. It does 160. Discard 2 fire energies from this Pokemon. So you do 160, discard 2. It's okay, it's not great. Nitro Tank GX. So for 1 fire energy, attach 5 fire energy cards from your discard pile to your Pokemon in any way you like. So I can see some play with this if you have max elixirs, and if you're discarding all of them and then you're bringing them back with the Nitro GX, you can set up your board. Or if you have something else, maybe like a Solgaleo or something else that you need lots of energies to attack with, this would be a good card too. So that was what that was from the first box. It's a good box. They got really good pulls. So yeah, so let's look at the second box. So the first thing that he got is Primarina GX, and this is the hyper rare. So shiny.
What's your name?
So for a double colorless, it does Bubble Beat. This attack does 20 more damage times the amount of water energies attached to your Pokemon. So again, with Water Patch coming out, this is a really good card that will get a lot of play. I believe so, because Water Patch and also the ability to use things like Max Elixir, it's gonna make setting up water energies really easy and really fast. So it's gonna set up the board really quickly, and you're gonna be hitting with Bubble Bee for a lot. It's also a double colorless attack, so you don't really need to have water energies attached to this Pokemon. Just double colorless, and the water energies attached to your bench, and you're really much set. It does suck that it is a stage 2, so you kind of have to rare candy or force evolve into it. So that's the only downside to it. Its next attack for 3 water energies and a colorless, Roaring Seas, it does 120. Discard an energy attached to your opponent's active Pokemon. So if you're playing this with Quad Lapras and Hammers, you're pretty much disrupting and just constantly hitting them. So more than likely we're gonna start seeing some play from this card, because I didn't see too much play when Sun and Moon came out. So hopefully this time around we'll see some more water of this coming out. And its last attack, which is Grand Echo GX, for a double colorless, heal all damage from all of your Pokemon. So it pretty much heals everything on your board. So if you have things like Lapras and stuff like that, and you're switching them out just to protect them from not getting the knockout, and use your GX move and you heal everything, you're pretty much defensively set for a couple more turns while you set up some more and come in and swing some more. So yeah, I'm pretty sure we're gonna see some play of this. Someone's gonna tech it, or someone's gonna build something around this, and we're gonna see some magical plays coming soon. So next is How, which is a trainer full art. Pretty simple, pretty self-explanatory. You draw 3 cards. It's really cool. I honestly, we're probably not going to see gameplay, because we have things like Sycamore still, and we have Kukui and other things like that let you draw. We have Lily. So more than likely we won't see play of this, but it is a cool card. I like that it has an Aloha Rachi with it. It's actually one of my favorite Sun and Moon Pokemon, because it is a psychic and it's like surfing on its tail. Come on, like, how is that not cool? So we got Tapu Koko GX full art. So it's pretty much the same thing as the one previously. You get as many energies as you want, put it on it, and you promote it. So if you drop it on the bench, you can bring it as your active with as many energies as you want. And again, it's doing 130 for 3 energies, and it's also doing 50 times the number of energies attached to all your opponent's Pokemon. So that's pretty good. We have Wishy-Washy GX. This is actually what I was playing today, because I did pull it and I thought it was going to be good, but I did notice that not having Max Elixirs and not having Water Patches or Aqua Patches, as many as you can have, it does slow it down. So we're going to get into the attacks, which is Water Gun for 20. So 1 water energy, Water Gun for 20. Then we have for 3 water energies and a double colorless, Torrential Vortex for 120, and then it discards the special energy attached to your opponent's active Pokemon. So if you're playing against like Rainbow Decidueye with Jolteons and stuff, even though the Jolteon stops your attacks, you can still attack, no damage, but you'll be able to discard the special energy. And if they're already out of rainbow energies and they can't like search for more or anything like that, it pretty much slows them down. But again, 5 energies to set that up, and if Decidueye gets set up by turn 2 or turn 3, you're probably not going to get this off. But if you manage to, it's going to be golden. The last attack, which is called Blue Surge GX, it does 220 for 5 energies, so 3 water energies and a colorless. Move all energies from this Pokemon to your bench Pokemon in any way you like. So you pretty much do 120, and if it's about to die, you just leave it up there, let them get 2 prizes, but you save your energies, and you can use you can redistribute your energies to your bench as you wish in order to set up your next Pokemon to attack. And last but not least, we got Como-O GX. So for 1 energy, Adamantine Press. For 30 damage during your opponent's next turn, this Pokemon takes 30 less damage from attacks after applying weakness and resistance. Its next attack for 1 fighting, 1 lightning, and a double colorless is called Shred. This attack's damage isn't affected by any effects of your opponent's active Pokemon. So for 130, that's not bad. Its GX move is 1 lightning, 1 fighting, and a double colorless again. For Ultra Uppercut GX, it does 240, and it's pretty much, that's it. Just 240 for 4 energies, which is, it's okay. I can see this working because it is a dragon, and you can use dragon energies. A dragon energy and a double colorless sets this up, so, and that's not really hard to do right now. So yeah, so more than likely we're gonna see some play of this, probably like tagged in somewhere. But yeah, so that's pretty much it for the box. That's what they got here at Fire and Dice. Some really good pulls. I want to thank Dave for letting me showcase the cards that he got in his boxes. So yeah, with that said, thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you haven't already. Please share the video just so other people get to see the highlights of what people are pulling. So yeah, and with that, thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys next time.